Note the disclaimer. When you think Family Guy, most of us tend to think cutaway gags, random stellar song sequences, and increasingly shock-based humor.
Where's my money, man? Where's my money?
While I'm not a huge fan of the latest seasons, there have been some real gems, particularly in the early to mid-seasons. But I do have the same complaints as anyone else. It can be pointlessly cruel and mean-spirited, and it can drag out a joke far too long. But at the same time, there's this scope and grandeur to it that you just can't find in any other animated sitcom. There's nothing out there quite like Family Guy. It really has its own unique place in animation that isn't quite Simpsons and isn't quite South Park. So today, we're going to look back at the top 10 best Family Guy episodes of all time. Number 10. Road to the Multiverse. Bryan and Stewie travel across dimensions, and through it, we get a ton of different fascinating settings. The duo travel to the future, to the Bedrock universe, the Disney universe.
It's a wonderful day for pie.
Japanese universe, double-headed universe, robot chicken universe, real life universe.
Bryan, this feels weird.
Hit the button.
It's basically one running joke through the whole episode of making the silliest universe they can come up with. And it's really funny to watch them try and top themselves. Refreshingly, there is absolutely no cutaway gags in this episode. All the absurdity happens through the different universes they travel to. This episode feels like 5 minutes, even though it goes for 20 minutes. That's a sign of a really good episode. I'd recommend giving this one a watch, if only to see the different art styles and settings they employ.
You want a nice shiny red apple to put in that pie?
No!
Number 9. Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story.
Go on, I can't go on no more now.
I'm stretching for this one as it's technically a movie, but this episode was a really intriguing watch all the way through. It focuses on Stewie as he tries to fix up the life of his future 35-year-old self, who has made his share of mistakes.
So forget about sending me back, because I'm not leaving until we do a complete overhaul on this sad thing you call our life.
Can I still read Parade?
No, you cannot still read Parade!
We get to see so many interesting scenarios in this one. Chris has married a very controlling, unpleasant woman. Bryan died after eating some chocolate. Meg has become a transsexual, and of course, Peter's still Peter. For the most part, all the jokes are still funny in this one.
Well, I kind of figured the coffee mug that says Jesus. I mean...
Oh, right.
Pretty obvious.
Jokes like Quagmire's method of calling 911 or Stewie and Bryan getting drunk are clever and they make you smile. The cutaway gags don't drag on.
Katie!
What?
Oh, well, never mind.
And the characters are still likable at this point. To top it all off, we get an adventure with Bryan and Stewie, which are often the highlight of the seasons. I think this movie marks the best era of Family Guy. It's an interesting episode/movie that I walked away from chuckling. I recommend it.
Oh, I just thought of another one for the Glad game. The first scissor cut into a fresh piece of construction paper.
Ooh, yeah.
Number 8. Airport 07. This one tends to fly under the radar a lot, and I'm not quite sure why. I think the jokes in this episode are really well done. We've got Peter imitating the redneck lifestyle. Carl Sagan's universe edited for rednecks.
Scientists have determined that the universe was created by a God. Big Bang.
And Peter siphoning off jet fuel in order to fly a pickup truck. Quagmire is actually one of my favorite characters. I like that he's a crazy sexual deviant, yet he's still a kind, socially pleasant friend at the same time. If you've ever been a hormonally supercharged teen, which most of us have, or are right now, you can relate a little bit with Quagmire.
Oh God, dead kittens, old nuns, really old nuns.
And he's passionate about his job. And frankly, in a society where most people are blasé and cursing of their jobs, it's very refreshing to see this. It's a hilarious setup as well, with Quagmire living with the Griffins. This episode has an unusually good-spirited feel to it. Unfortunately, as seasons went on, these sort of positive episodes would become rarer and rarer.
That was too close.
Number 7. Bryan Sings and Swings. The premise for this episode is surprisingly simple. Bryan gets backed over by Peter, which in turn gets him depressed about mortality and its uncertainty. But he starts singing with Frank Sinatra Jr., and that begins to cheer him up. I just love the connection and chemistry between Bryan and Frank Sinatra Jr. Their duets feel very natural. All the jokes in this one are good. Meg joins a lesbian club to try and fit in. That is awesome. It has a really nice ending message too, which again is unusually good-spirited for Seth MacFarlane. But it's nice to see. Definitely worth at least one watch.
There you are!
Mia Farrow?
What's this I hear about you up all night with a baby and a dog?
Oh, leave me alone!
Get over here, young man!
Ah, damn it all!
Number 6. North by North Quahog. This episode marks Family Guy's return to air after being cancelled, and it really is a roller coaster ride from beginning to end. They start with a premise that happens to any good married couple after a few years. Peter and Lois's sex life is getting a little stale, so they decide to go on a vacation and spice things up, where they break into Mel Gibson's private hotel room and steal his alternative version of Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ 2. Crucify this.
Which is so much better than the original version. This leads to massive epic chases, kidnappings, airplane chases, and a showdown with Mel Gibson. All in 22 minutes too. There's just so many good cutaway jokes on this one.
Stop it. Stop it. Okay. Okay? Okay.
There's very few episodes that make me chuckle as much as this one. It just felt like the writers' hearts were still in the right places, and the jokes still felt fresh. Give it a watch if you haven't checked it out.
See you next week. Good to be back, America.
Number 5. From Method to Madness. I just find something so harmonious and beautiful about duets. And this episode just makes me all fuzzy and warm inside.
Watch my hands, Lois. Look, see where they are? See? No touchy.
Which is quite rare for Family Guy, given its usual no-holds-barred, harsh comedy style. We watch Stewie team up with Olivia, a fellow acting girl, whom he is originally hostile to. But once they discover how good they are as a duet, their acting careers take off. But it falls apart pretty quickly, as many close acting duos have. And then we sadly watch Stewie's acting career burn. It's almost like a slice of life ending, as Stewie does try incredibly hard to keep his acting career going, but he just doesn't have what the audience wants. Strangely enough, this feels far more like a legitimate romance than any of Bryan's half-hearted one-night stands or girlfriends. For some reason, I reflect and laugh on this ending, even 10 years after seeing it.
I brought what you wanted, but they wouldn't let me leave it, so,
Hit it once. Please. Just once. My God, I was flat. All right then, help me up. Let's go home.
Number 4. Blue Harvest. While I don't know about the other two, I think Blue Harvest is among the best Star Wars spoofs of all time. This is one of those episodes you can quote even years later because most of the lines are so classic. The character choices for each Star Wars character are perfect.
My God, look at this mess. Hey, Darth Vader's gonna be here. Should we maybe clean the place up? No, it's okay. He won't mind.
Peter Griffin as Han Solo? There could be no one else.
I'm Han Solo, captain of the Millennium Falcon, and the only actor whose career isn't destroyed by this movie.
I crack myself up every time I watch this parody. Basically, every line of the original Star Wars is given a spoof joke, and 95% of them are brilliant. This is one of those parodies you have to see at least once, if only to know what everyone is quoting all the time.
You know what? I know we have a dangerous job to do here, but I'm taking this. I'm taking this couch.
Number 3.
Oh, well, everybody's heard about the bird.
I Dream of Jesus. You will definitely walk out of this episode with something you didn't have before. They call it an earworm. In this case, it's about a bird.
Bryan, don't!
Oh, well, a bird.
A song you cannot get out of your head, no matter how hard you try. It's hard not to get caught up in Peter's absolutely mad love of this song. He's just enjoying this song so much. You almost feel bad when Bryan and Stewie desperately destroy every known copy in the city. And on top of that, we have a great second plot where Peter stumbles upon Jesus in a record store and encourages him to make a second coming. And it's really interesting to watch unfold. I don't tend to laugh at Peter when he's being cruel or hurting loved ones, but I do tend to laugh right along with him when he's just caught up in a passion and loving every minute of it. This song makes me want to get up and dance as well. And any episode that manages to encourage me to smile and start dancing is right up there in my books.
A word, a bird, bird, bird. The bird is a word, a bird, 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 bird. The bird is a word, a bird, bird, bird.
Peter, I have a mammogram in the morning.
Number 2. PTV. This episode probably has the best intro in the whole series.
And now prepare to die.
To me, this intro is what Family Guy is all about. Light-hearted but still epic and of massive proportions. In this episode, we get a fun look at Peter starting his own TV network, only to be censored by the FCC, to the point where they physically place black lines over his private parts when he's showering.
His chin looks like balls. You want me to cover that too?
They even censor out their attempts to swear in frustration.
You know, you're lucky you're good at my right.
Me.
This episode even received an Emmy Award for Outstanding Animated Programs. I really enjoy the censorship jokes in this one. They're all really clever and instantly get the message Seth is trying to get across. The pointlessness of censorship.
'Cause that's my side boob. Good night, everybody.
There's just too many good laughs in this one. Episodes like these are why I am still glad Family Guy's on the air. These episodes show brief moments of brilliance from the writers that are the reason when I still see a Family Guy episode, I don't change the channel. The FCC song is brilliant, and 95% of the jokes are fantastic. This is one of those Family Guy episodes you should definitely watch at least once.
They may just be neurotic or possibly psychotic. They're the fellas at the freaking FCC.
And the number 1 best Family Guy episode of all time is...
Hey, Stewie. What the hell is that?
Road to Rhode Island. The best adventure Bryan and Stewie did was their first adventure. It's incredible how even Bryan and Stewie sharing a cheap motel allows them to pull out some of the funniest sketches Family Guy has ever done. Bryan and Stewie work off each other perfectly in this episode. It's the episode that started the continual trend of sending Bryan and Stewie on adventures. And in this case, the original is the best. We jump between a season worth of skits on this one. Bryan and Stewie in an airport, crashing a plane, on the back of a truck full of Mexicans, in a motel, stealing a car, at a gas station, the list just goes on. This episode is incredibly clever. We even get a nice side plot about Bryan trying to reconcile with his mother. There's not a single joke in this episode that I didn't think was fantastic. We even get jokes about Peter and Lois trying to fix up their sex life. And strangely enough, none of them lean back on shocks to get a laugh. It's by far my most rewatched episode of all. It even finishes with a beautiful emotional moment of Stewie and Bryan crossing through the landscape on a train through the night, only for them to burst into a song of camaraderie and just simple joy. A lot of the popular culture Family Guy lines stem from this episode. We see this episode once and it cements itself as Family Guy. To me, anyway, this episode is what Family Guy is all about.
We're Rhode Island bound.
But also, I think there's a reason Family Guy is 13 seasons in now, despite many claiming they hate it. Many of its fans are still waiting for those brief moments of brilliance that stood out from even the Simpsons or South Park moments. We're all waiting for Seth to bring back a kind and relatable Bryan, not a pretentious jerk, a devious but still lovable Stewie, and a lovable Peter Griffin who isn't a violent jerk. We all know he can give us something brilliant if he sets his mind to it, and that's what we're all waiting for on Family Guy now. And despite not seeing a good episode in years, many of us will keep supporting him because we're waiting for that brief moment of unforgettable brilliance again. Got a favorite episode yourself? What do you think of Family Guy nowadays? Do you still like the show? Let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.